Start.
Open Audacity.
Okay, quit. How do I quit you? Not Siri. Siri, I know how to quit you. Yes, sure. And she literally
like, no!
Siri's just like, yeah, okay, fine, I won't be here. Gosh, that's how you want to play things.
You insist.
So who are you rooting for? Or do you have a horse in this leg?
In this game, I don't know. I played for the Astros in the show, so I feel a little bit of a
bias
of a leaning towards them. I don't like the Red Sox. My stepdad does.
You don't like what? You don't like them?
I'm not huge on it. I don't really care. Also, Christy hates Boston. Like everything about it.
Like with a passion?
Yeah, she lived there.
So she hates. Well,
she went to school there.
And she hates it because of that,
yeah.
Or in spite of that. What?
All of the above.
Oh,
she just hates the people that live
there. Yeah.
That guy's sweatshirt says "Do damage." That's a hit.
The hits just keep coming. Play the hits. Oh, you got
Maldonado.
He didn't play the hits. Well, he tried to play for a hit, but yeah, play the hits. As I yell to every concert I go to. At one point or another, don't care who's up there, I will yell, play the hits.
Play the hits.
I think that's right. Alright.
NHL hits.
You like boards up against the wall?
Yeah, NHL hits. Do you remember NHL hits? It was Midway's NFL Blitz equivalent for hockey. It was called NHL Hits.
I remember Blitz. I remember Hits.
I played some NHL Hits.
Okay, well, let's make sure we're going live here. Because I don't know we're live. I just want to make sure that we got chat up. So that way you all can chat with us. Live chat. That's going. Which means we're going.
I just realized something. If we move all the tables on Tuesday, what are we going to record on Wednesday?
It's going to be interesting on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday's going to be interesting.
We'll figure that out next week.
We'll figure that out next week.
Well, while we worry about next week, let's worry about today. And tomorrow. And the news we have.
I'm seeing where you're going with this.
Yeah, because we're already going. We're already started.
I know. I just wanted to know where you were going and where you were headed there. It's the Media Boat Podcast.
You think I'm driving this ship?
In case you didn't realize, it's the Media Boat Podcast. Yeah, I just wanted to see where you were going, so that way I could segue out of it.
Head
but I can't segue out of that.
No.
So I just have to go.
You just got to run right into it.
It's the Media Boat Podcast. Thanks for running into us tonight. If you're not familiar with what the Media Boat Podcast is, we are your source for news about movies, television, music, and video games. Not necessarily in that order.
Something in that order.
Today is October the 17th, 2018. Today is actually episode 145. I've been saying it wrong for the last 2 weeks.
It's fine.
But today is actually episode 145.
We finally made it.
We finally did it. This will be the penultimate episode in our current recording space. We will update you guys when things change, but things will change. There may be a day change for our recording schedule, but we will let you know via our social media channels if that happens. So
when that happens.
So stay tuned.
When that happens. We may skip live broadcast and go for audio for a while.
We might have to do some audio podcasts for a little bit.
Like an actual podcast?
A podcast, you know.
Like back in the old days?
Yes, back in 2007, you had to record a podcast over audio. That's like
is that you?
A cane.
Oh, see, I was gonna go with back in like episodes 1 through 45.
Yes. Also the first 50 episodes
1 through 50,
of the show.
yeah.
But still, but yes, Media Boat Podcast, as I mentioned, news about movies, TV, film, wow.
TV, film.
Movies, TV, video games, and music. Among other nonsense here and there. My name is Matt. His name is Mike.
I'm Mike. He's Matt. Sports has been happening like exploding like these next couple of weeks.
But we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that explosion. Because
you can't get ahead of yourself because we don't start with television.
You're right.
We start with movies.
Oh, yes.
In fact, we start movies with the weekend box office.
Okay. So, did A Star Is Born actually go see it? Number one? Please?
No.
Aww.
No. It was a continuation of last week as Venom took number one again with another $35 million, adding to its total. It's now 142 domestic, which is a good amount.
That's fine. It's $100 million to make, so
yeah,
it'll globally end up in the black.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Is that a Venom joke?
It is also a Venom joke. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, he is black.
Yes.
Number 2,
Spider-Man is in the red.
Coming in at number 2 is A Star Is Born.
There it is.
Earning another $28 million. Just under 100 domestic right now, at 94 sitting at.
It'll make it.
It'll get there.
It'll get the 100. Bradley Cooper with a $100 million directorial debut.
Yeah, that's
off
something.
A $30 million budget, roughly.
Yeah. Number 3, First Man debuts with $16 million.
First Man coming in third.
Yep, he's not first this week.
Nope.
Goosebumps 2 is not first either. It's number 4 with $15.8 million.
That is also a debut.
Yep. And to round out your top 5, Smallfoot with another $9 million, adding to its modest $57 million total. Probably not what Warner Bros. Was looking for that thing.
In terms of an animated feature?
No, that's low.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That thing is not doing that great.
You know?
That's kind of sad because, well, I'll get to that. I saw Smallfoot. I'll talk about it in a little bit.
Yeah, but first let's see what's coming up this weekend.
This weekend we have one movie.
But it's
that's
October.
Because it's October and we all knew this was happening. It is the remake of Halloween.
Oh, it's the Halloween?
Sorry, it's not a remake. It's just called Halloween. It's technically a sequel in the Halloween series.
It's a sequel / reboot /
Yeah, it's not a remake.
Yes,
but it is a reboot.
It's not a remake. It's not a reimagining.
No, because characters from the original, including Jamie Lee Curtis, play the same characters that they were in the original.
Yep.
Including Jamie Lee Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the big deal about this one. They're bringing back her and the kind of the role that made her famous. So yeah, it's like early buzz seems good.
If you like horror films?
Yeah, if you like the Halloween series.
I'm not into horror films, so...
No, me neither. This is not for us.
No.
But it is for probably a lot of people. So.
It is. It's also... People will see it because it's October and Halloween. And, yeah, it's got some of your characters in it. So, people will see it, but I'm still going to try and see First Man.
Yeah, you are.
And by that, I mean I didn't see a movie this weekend. But that doesn't mean we have any thoughts for you.
That's okay, because I picked up some slack. I saw Smallfoot.
You went to the movies?
I went to the movies.
Aww.
I saw Smallfoot, and I can report 2 things. 1, that movie is a musical. You wouldn't be able to tell by the trailers or any of the ads, but that movie is a musical.
Okay.
And 2, it's okay.
It's okay?
It's not amazing, but it's not terrible.
Alright.
I didn't feel like I wasted my time, but it has issues.
Alright, so compare it to Boss Baby, because I think those are both...
I have not seen Boss Baby. It is complete.
I thought you saw Boss Baby.
No. I have not seen Boss Baby. So I cannot compare it to Boss Baby.
For some reason, I remember you seeing Boss Baby.
No, I did not see Boss Baby.
What was the other one? Oh, Storks you saw.
Yeah, so that is actually a more apt comparison, because that would be the last animated film that Warner Brothers Animation had put out.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to think here.
So it's similar in some ways to that thing, but not really the same kind of movie. This, as I mentioned, is a musical, and it uses those musical numbers in a lot of in a pretty. They use them pretty well. It's not to the extent like a Disney movie would. This is not Frozen, but it does kind of make it have a little bit more variety than your average one of these movies. This is a little bit more polished than something like, Sony cranks out these days.
Hey,
but it's still not...
Hotel Transylvania 3.
But it's still...
Summer Vacation was fine.
Sure. But it's still missing that polish that you expect from, like, a better DreamWorks movie or especially a Pixar or a Disney film.
Well...
Which is the main gripe I have here, is that unlike Storks, which works because of the strength of its characters, this movie has a lot of characters and none of them are that interesting.
Oh. Not LeBron James?
So the cast is great. That is one thing that they nailed here.
Not Michi as
Everybody
Zendaya?
is memorable because they're all they're all voiced by very specific people. And they do have very specific personalities. But do I care about what's happening to any of them? Not really. And that's the problem. This movie is all plot. This movie barely has a B-plot in it. It's just go, go, go constantly. And there's no time for the people, like the characters in this movie, to breathe, to talk to each other about things that they care about. There's always... Every scene has to be something exactly like advancing the plot in some way. Which I get, because there's a lot to get through here. Mm-hmm. The world is kind of charming. The stuff they do with, like, this is a world of Yetis is interesting. The comparisons between the human world and the Yeti world are also interesting. They set up Common, who is actually the villain of this film, believe it or not, as understandable enough where he doesn't seem too villainous at any point. But there's some weird stuff going on with the human character, the James Corden character.
That's supposed to be James Corden?
That's James Corden. Yes, voicing this dude.
Okay.
A British, think of a travelogue dude. Think of like Bear Grylls. He's kind of like a Bear Grylls figure.
Okay.
Where he's up there, trying to find Bigfoot because he thinks it'll be his big television move. Mm-hmm. There's even a song that he sings to the tune of Under Pressure about how much pressure he's under to become famous again. It's probably the least creative thing in the movie, but it's okay.
It works.
It works. But yeah, the stuff with the Yetis is interesting enough. The dynamic, they try to make the dynamic between the human character and the Yetis be like, oh, he's one of the good humans because he saves the Yeti's life at one point. But I struggled with that because I was like, well, it's just one human, and he was you set him up to be kind of a jerk at the beginning of the movie, and I was like, that's not great. It's like, he doesn't seem like they ever really redeem his character from being a jerk, which I didn't really like. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in this movie. It's really hard to sum up. But it's a silly, fun, musical thing if you want to take your kids to something. It's not amazing, but it gets its job done. You come out in an hour and a half thinking, yeah, this was okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
Okay. So, on the patented meter vote scale...
I'd say
stream it.
I'm going to be honest with myself, stream it. I paid a lower price because we went to a matinee show.
Matinee discount.
So don't go and see it at night. Don't spend $13 on this movie. I'd say wait, stream it on your Netflix. Put it on when there's something else. Yeah, might have a fun time. And yes, Zendaya was Michi. Mm-hmm. I can guarantee that now. If you want to see Zendaya be Michi, here's your opportunity. All right. That's all I have to say about Smallfoot. Let's move on.
Okay.
So you didn't see any movies?
No, I wanted to, and then I didn't get around to it, and then I should have seen them on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, look at what I was doing on them a little later.
First up, let's move on to...
We got some news.
Movie news.
Yeah, let's get some news going.
Our first story is our weekly update on the world of Marvel.
I wouldn't say weekly, but...
we do it enough.
Yeah, we do it enough.
Your Marvel update starts with an update about Scarlett Johansson.
And people got paid.
It's finally happening. She's landed on a $15 million payday for an upcoming standalone film, finally centered on her character. It was bound to happen at some point.
I know.
And I think that's the success of Wonder Woman probably paved the way for this to happen.
Wonder Woman, yeah, sure.
Yeah. That salary, by the way, of $15 million is
that's kind of high, don't you think?
Well, yeah, you would think that, but here's the catch. It was what Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth already had earned when they did Avengers Infinity War.
So they were each getting 15?
Yeah, they were already getting that kind of money.
Ah.
So Scarlett Johansson's just making up to that level.
She joins the boys club then?
Yes, so. She has played the character in 6 films and pulled down a low 7-figure salary. Yeah, that's a sentence. A low 7-figure salary. Think about that for a second.
What's the decimal point?
for the first Avengers movie in 2012, compare that to Brie Larson, who signed a $5 million deal to play Captain Marvel in exchange for a 7-picture deal, grand total.
Yeah.
And Chadwick Boseman, who signed just $2 million for Black Panther. That's low compared.
Well, those are both their first movies in the Marvel Universe,
right.
though. Compared to when Scarlett Johansson played her first role, it was low. But then again, the MCU wasn't at the status it's at right now.
Also, is Brie's numbers pumped up because she's an Oscar winner?
That's exactly that, too. Because she signed on right after she won the Oscar for Room.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I got the Oscar. Pay me Oscar money now.
Oscar money.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, people are getting paid. You were right. This is kind of what the story is.
Yep.
Is here's how much money everybody's getting. But yeah.
Of course, they're going to make that back day one.
I'm worried, though, about a Black Widow movie because I feel like they just did that in that movie.
Lucy?
No.
Atomic Blonde?
No.
Salt?
No. Remember the one that came out earlier?
Red Sparrow.
Yes. That is what I'm thinking of. I remember I saw the trailer for that thing. It's like, that just sounds like the backstory for Black Widow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. But this one's going to be done by Marvel, so it's going to be done right.
Oh, okay. I see. Fair enough.
It's also going to start Joe. Why do I don't think of JoJo? Not JoJo no.
JoJo? You mean?
Yeah, her. For some reason, we're blanking.
Jennifer Lawrence?
Yes, JoJo. Jennifer Lawrence.
JoJo, sure. That's what everybody calls her.
It's her new Instagram handle.
Hi, JoJo.
Her new Instagram handle is just JoJo.
JoJo.
Yes, Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence.
In Red Sparrow.
But we were just talking about Black Panther. But speaking of Black Panther...
Michael B. Jordan.
Yes, this is our weekly Black Jordan. I was reading Black Panther while I was saying Michael B. Jordan. And so I said Black Jordan. I mean, it's not wrong. Michael B. Jordan is in the news again this week because Black Panther is in the news again this week. Black Panther director Ryan Coogler has officially signed on to write and direct the sequel to Black Panther. The film, by the way, in case you were wondering, grossed $700 million domestically. Earlier this year. At $1.3 billion worldwide. The script won't be done until next year, with production starting either late 2019 or early 2020.
Why is that?
Well, Ryan Coogler is currently busy directing Michael B. Jordan and Wrong Answer, and will be executive producing Space Jam 2.
So he's kind of got stuff on his plate right now.
Also, they've got a bunch of other Marvel stuff that they need to do before that.
You would think that, but the answer is no.
Really?
Yes. So currently on the Marvel slate is Captain Marvel, Avengers 4, still untitled. Then the only thing they have confirmed is Spider-Man Far From Home 2. Or Spider-Man Far From Home, which is Homecoming 2, Far From Home. That's all that's confirmed. Now there's rumors going on like what they're developing, which include this Scarlett Johansson Black Widow film.
Yeah.
What was in development was Guardians of the Galaxy, which is no longer in. It's no longer in production. It's in the middle of a
on hold.
On hold.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah, and Black Panther 2, which everyone assumed was going to happen, but yeah, there's nothing really confirmed.
No.
Doctor Strange 2 is like verbally confirmed, but nothing's in paper, nothing's in writing.
Well, because they have to wait for Benedict Cumberbatch,
right?
Which I'm sure he's.
And the reason like none of these have been like confirmed for production is because of what happened in Avengers: Infinity War.
Right.
Is that we can't say here's our slate of movies
because that tells you who survives.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's kind of spoilery.
Right, but the fact that like you have Black Panther and Spider-Man already in development.
Yeah.
Kind of like spoils those two characters at least. But that's 2 out of like 30 plus Marvel characters for Infinity War.
It's a lot.
Yep.
Alright, well let's move on. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something completely different. Well, I guess not really, because Disney, of course, is your corporate overlord in charge of all the Marvel properties.
Yep. So
they are also in the midst of their own crossover, incredibly anticipated crossover event.
So they're still trying to buy Fox.
Yes.
But they just have to go through international courts first.
So part of this is that they've offered antitrust concessions to help secure the EU approval of its $71.3 billion acquisition of 21st Century Fox's entertainment assets.
So they did this with the U.S. where they said, okay, you can buy Fox, but you have to give up all the regional sports networks.
Right.
And don't touch any of the new stuff.
Details of the concession specifically offered are not disclosed, but the move was announced Monday by the European Commission, which is reviewing competition concerns. With Disney having submitted this proposal on Friday. The European regulator has also extended its deadline for reviewing the merger from October 19th all the way to November 11th. The Commission is expected to consult with customers and media competitors before deciding whether to accept Disney's proposed concessions. I wonder what they did.
What are they offering?
You gotta wonder.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know enough about
international markets.
Their presence in Europe.
Yeah.
To know anything about this. I don't know if they have different stuff going on over there with like rules about theme parks, rules about.
There's that they have
syndication stuff like
Disney
that.
Paris.
So yeah, there's Disneyland Paris is the only European.
Yeah, right. It's only European
Disney park, I believe.
Yeah.
Currently.
Because then there's Hong Kong.
Right.
And then Tokyo.
Japan, yeah.
And then Disney World, Disneyland, and then other cruises.
I think the one they're building is in Beijing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the next one.
I think so.
I think that's right. But yeah, so I don't know. There might be stuff elsewhere in like rights-wise that they might need to negotiate, that they might concede on. So we'll find out. We'll let you know when we find out more.
I wonder if any of this has to deal with like Brexit, because Britain's no longer part of the EU.
If that makes it like the rights, they have to. Well, I feel like that story would be separate from this then.
Yeah.
This story is just about European Union countries, so this has nothing to do with the UK, at least at this point.
But the production companies are in the UK. Pinewood Studios is in the UK.
Yeah, well, that's a different talk that they're gonna have to have another time. All right, let's move on then, because we have to talk about Viggo Mortensen for some reason.
How do you say his name?
Viggo Mortensen.
It's not Vigo?
I thought it was Viggo.
I go with Vigo. All right.
Viggo, whoever. He's making his Wow, I can't talk. He was making his directorial debut.
Debut.
Yep, his debut on Falling. What is Falling?
What's Falling?
Thank you for asking. Is being described as an intimate drama about a son's relationship with his aging father.
Aww.
He also wrote the screenplay and will play the son in the film.
Wait.
Yes, the son in the film.
Wait, but he's old.
The son in the film.
He's old, though.
The son, aging father, remember?
Yes. But he's already an aging father.
Along Lance Henriksen of Aliens. I'm not sure why you have that. And Severe Gudnason, who I guess was in The Girl in the Spider's Web.
I think she is the girl in the Spider's Web.
Severe Gudnason.
Yes.
Mortensen will play John Peterson, who lives with his partner Eric and their adopted daughter Monica in Southern California.
Hey.
His father, Willis Henriksen, is a farmer whose attitudes and behavior belong to a more traditional era and family model. When Willis travels to Los Angeles for an indefinite stay with John's family in order to search for a place to retire, the two different worlds collide. Hanway Films will handle the international sale of the film, and UTA Independent Film Group will be overseeing the U.S. release.
This sounds like my life.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, you're gay now, and you have a daughter, and your father. I don't.
Who was this movie for again?
100% you.
Who was this movie for again?
Big O Mortensen. Anyway.
Yes. What was that film? Was it Captain Fantastic?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Something like that. Well, that's a movie, so go check that out if that sounds interesting.
Good job, Vigo. You wrote and directed this thing.
Sure is a movie. All right, let's talk about Airstrike.
Whoopah!
It's an upcoming film starring Bruce Willis and Adrian Brody.
Okay, well, why do I care about this, though?
Well, it's been canceled.
Aww.
Sorry.
Tears.
This was canceled in the wake of their co-star, none other than actress Fan Bingbing, being convicted of tax evasion, as we talked about last week.
Yes, this was the film that she was caught tax evading on?
I think. Director Zhao Feng said it was time to let the project go after working on the film for 8 years.
Oh.
Slate Media said the fan evaded taxes using 2 separate contracts for her work on the film and was charged to pay $130 million in penalties. Catch 130 smackers. Let's give them over. But we talked about that last week. But yeah, that sucks to be a director and working on a film for 8 years and it basically just having to call it.
Just you have to cancel it because one of your actresses just doing some money stuff.
Yeah. That's the worst.
That's got to be the worst thing to come out of this, right?
I think
besides
so.
that or $130 million.
Yeah, everybody's kind of out of jobs. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'm sure they got paid by the studio, but
maybe
anyone trying to earn money on the back end on that, just
nothing.
Automatically nothing on that.
So there's that. That is it, though, for movie news.
All right.
We now move into television.
Sweet. Done.
And we move into television by starting with sports.
It's sports time.
And the big story in sports right now is Major League Baseball. It's
Major
October.
League Baseball?
It's October. Those boys are in October.
Yes. The boys of fall. This is literally my favorite 2 weeks of the whole year.
Yeah.
Because these 2 weeks, this week and next week,
have ridiculous
is the only time of the year when every single sport's being played.
Well, by every single sport, you mean every single major sports league in the U.S.
Yes.
You have NFL,
yes.
Major League Baseball,
yes.
the NHL,
yes.
and the NBA all playing at the same time.
Tipped off, yes.
All of them are playing right now.
Yep.
But baseball is almost coming to a close because we have the ALCS and NLCS are wrapping up by this weekend. Currently, they are both in pretty close matches.
Yes, Dodgers played earlier today and won. They're up 3-2. These are both 7-game series.
Yes, and then currently we have the Houston Astros and the
Boston Red Sox. Yes, Boston Red Sox just took the lead on a 2-run home run.
Yeah, so Boston leads 2-1
saw
now.
That.
Yeah, they lead 2-1 now, but by the end of this game, it looks like they might be up 3. So we'll see. It's exciting time for baseball. We're watching the game last night, which went into overtime, 13 innings. Oh God, I'm glad I didn't stay up.
Oh yeah. I left at the end of the ninth.
Yeah.
I left for about 45 minutes. Came back. I said, "Who won?" They said, "It's still going on."
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't miss anything there, but yeah, baseball's going on. It's fantastic time to jump into baseball sports. Baseball.
It's baseball.
It's baseball.
Speaking of baseball, if you're a fan like we are of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, well, you might have heard the story about their might be homeless soon. They're not
just like the people next to the Anaheim Stadium.
Yes, just like ooh, that's sad. Yes,
I know, but they're right there.
They have chosen not to renew their lease for their stadium.
Sports.
Which means that they may be looking for a new home. That stadium, by the way, is the 4th oldest stadium in the Major League right now.
I know that. Can you name the other three that are in front of
We
it?
did this yesterday.
Yes. Name the other three. Because they're some of the most famous baseball parks in America.
It's Fenway.
Yes, that's one.
It's, I'm trying to remember from yesterday. Wrigley.
Yes, that's another famous one.
And it's Dodger.
Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Those three
total four.
iconic stadiums. Yeah. And then fourth is Angel Stadium.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of iconic. It's got that nice grass area in the back. It's got the big A.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are icons.
Yeah, it's the big A.
Yeah.
It's got the little waterfall in the back.
Remember when it was called Edison Field?
Yes.
Yeah, good times. Anyways. But yeah.
I'm sorry, our heart made you miss literally nothing of the Dodger game last night. Because nothing happened in the Dodger game.
It's true. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go. We kind of talked about it yesterday off the cast, and we joked about how crazy it would be if they went to Vegas like every other sports team.
Yeah, Vegas in a matter of 5 years would have gotten a hockey team, a football team, and a baseball team.
Get them all. Collect them all.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon.
I mean, basically what it is.
Gotta catch all of them.
Yeah, they'll send all sports teams there, and then in 10 years, when gambling becomes a huge problem, they'll have to move them out again.
Back out.
Yep.
They just need.
But yeah, the Las Vegas Angels, which sounds like a strip club.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Anyway, so yeah, that's just a little blip. Also, in sports this week, it's been 7 straight weeks of football games going in overtime.
I know. We had another one this weekend.
Another one.
This overtime's never supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And yet here we are for 7th straight week going into OT.
Yeah, it's crazy. This may be because of there's some records to talk about.
Yeah, there are.
In our weekly track of who's won and who's lost in the NFL. The Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, are the only undefeated team this season still.
Ramily. Woo, yes. Suck it, Casey.
And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, the Arizona Cardinals still have not won a game.
Not damn.
Sorry, Mark.
Sorry. They played Thursday night against the Broncos.
Yeah.
If that counts for anything.
Lost again.
Yep.
So, too bad, Arizona fans, but good for you, LA. Meanwhile, basketball has started, as we mentioned just briefly earlier.
Yes. Basketball tipped off as of last night. Which means we now get to officially see LeBron in a Laker jersey.
Yeah, it's weird.
And then lose in the semis.
LeBron James also did a good job in Smallfoot.
LeBron James.
Anyways.
Horns up. Cardinals are 1-5 though. Apparently they did win.
Oh, they did win?
I guess they did win.
Oh, you're wrong.
Wow.
Wrong. Alright, in that case.
Oh well.
Lastly,
I don't pay attention to the Cardinals. I assume they lost.
Lastly, in sports, NASCAR season is wrapping up.
Yes, playoffs.
There's playoffs in NASCAR?
Yeah, there are.
How is that possible?
Well, there's different stages within each race.
All right.
And so if you place within the stage, you get points, and then you have to have certain points in order to move on.
Okay, so points.
Yeah, it's a point system.
Playoffs.
It's a point system. Like, I point to that guy, I point to
that
guy, point to that guy.
That guy's in a car pointing at him.
Yep.
All right, that does it for sports. Let's move on.
So, like I said, it's a great time for sports. Also, it just happens to run through my birthday weekend.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's the most wonderful time.
For sports.
Oh, for the sports. So, let's move into television news, though, because we're done with sports.
Yeah, we are.
Let's talk about non-sports news, which includes, first up, international rights to a beloved Netflix show.
All right. So tell me about Orange is the New Black?
Already been done.
House of Cards?
Already been done. Think Animals?
Animals? No, that's HBO. BoJack?
Yes!
What?
BoJack Horseman is getting international distribution thanks to Lionsgate.
Okay, you're welcome, Lionsgate.
I'll pause because we may have sports.
No.
Follow-up?
No, just talking about fantasy football, how David Johnson sucks.
Okay. As a fellow Johnson, I'm sorry. Anyway.
A fellow Johnson apologizes to all Johnsons.
I need to apologize on behalf of the rest of the Johnsons. Anyways, Lionsgate has secured the rights to sell BoJack Horseman to an international audience. Their distribution arm will see the first 3 seasons of BoJack dubbed into 11 languages, with the other 2 seasons arriving at a later date. Okay. Lionsgate, of course, helped make the deal for BoJack to air on Comedy Central in the US and syndication.
I would say we just saw that it was on Comedy Central.
Did just see that. And also worked on the international deal for over a year. They previously sold Orange is the New Black and House of Cards internationally in the past.
Oh, so I was right.
You were technically right. Just not in this case.
Yeah.
Moving on, our next story is...
Technically right. So yeah, congratulations Lionsgate on that massive deal.
Yeah, it's
that's a good way to stay afloat for a company.
Open up BoJack for the world. Although I don't know how much that show works because a lot of those jokes
are Western,
very
media,
like
pop
American
culture.
film industry, and I don't know if they're gonna play. We'll see how that works.
Hey, we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, it's animated because the fact that it's animated, it's easy to dub.
That's true. All right, moving on. Our next story is kind of a political topical story here. It's topical because it has to do with some international issues that are happening right now.
All right.
So Endeavor, which
the company
of course
Endeavor,
is the
former IMG WME company, they rebranded.
Yeah. They are pulling out a $400 million deal with none other than the government of Saudi Arabia.
What was that number?
Yeah, $400 million.
Ooh.
Yeah, well...
Oh, what'd they do?
You're probably wondering why.
Yeah.
Because the pressure... because Hollywood has now been pressured to take a stand against the kingdom in the wake of a political disturbance that happened last week. The disappearance, let's be real, murder... of a journalist named Jamal Khashoggi.
Was this the Washington Post guy?
Yes, who wrote for the Washington Post. The deal was originally created by the Saudi government to back projects at home and abroad and to take a 10% stake in Endeavor. Other companies that are also being pressured to get out of deals with the Saudis are AMC, IMAX, and the WWE. Yeah. So I don't know how much people are following this, but yeah, it's pretty messed up. It seems like all signs point to people in the consulate being at least aware of, if not involved in,
complacent.
Yeah, the murder of this journalist. It doesn't look good, especially, and it's especially difficult when we live in a country where our president and our president's administration has very strong financial ties to the Saudis. It's a very messy situation to be in. So yeah.
Yes, but that's political stuff, not Hollywood stuff.
But when all these Hollywood companies have business ties as well with the Saudi government, then maybe it's time to distance yourself from them.
No, this is the first big company. Oh, I don't know about big company, but it's $400 million is a big deal.
I wouldn't be surprised if more were to come.
Yeah.
Except for maybe the WWE.
Vince McMahon?
He doesn't pull out. That man does not pull out.
Is that a sex thing?
Could be. I don't know. I don't know anything about Vince McMahon. His bedroom life. He just strikes me as that kind of guy. Moving on. Our next story.
You missed it. You missed it.
Our next story. Let's not get distracted by this baseball game that's happening in front of us. Because we get to talk about 50 Cent.
What?
Yes, 50
Cent.
Okay,
I want to talk about some
you have stylized on this Google Doc as 50 cents. Like $ and everything.
Yeah.
0.50.
Yes.
Yes, none other than the 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, has signed a new 4-year deal with Stars.
Oh, he got that
up to $150.
He got that
$1 million.
He got that power.
Yes, because of course that's where he has his show Power. Under the agreement, Jackson will continue to develop new scripted and unscripted projects exclusively for Stars through his G-Unit Film and Television Incorporated banner.
That is a very 50 Cent thing to do.
G-Unit. Knit. Jackson is... You have to do the echo. It's the only way it works. Jackson is an executive producer on, of course, Power, and the deal includes a 3-series commitment. In addition to a dedicated development executive and discretionary funds for use in developing G-Unit projects, it also gives him input into the merchandising and licensing of brands and content that are developed by his production company. This makes sense because pretty much since his rap career kind of ended, 50 Cent has been a businessman.
Yeah.
He is dead that.
All about his businessman?
No, that's Jay-Z.
That's Jay-Z.
Jay-Z is a business. He's not a businessman. He's a business man. No, 50 Cent, however, is a businessman.
Yeah.
He is like...
He's done some investing.
Yes, he's definitely invested things. He had the vitamin water thing for a while.
Yep.
Was the Triple X one is his, I think? I forget which flavor is his, but it's like the Triple X flavor.
Pomegranate?
Yeah, I think that's him.
Yeah.
Anyways, whatever it is. But yeah, 50 Cent keeps businessing, and I think this is smart for him. Not a lot of people that I know, though, care about anything on Stars.
It's still... Stars is still very, like, premium.
Well, no. My experience with Stars was always... It was the cheap premium. It was always the thing that you got if you couldn't afford to get HBO or Showtime.
No,
I always viewed it as a third tier.
Oh, no. My view was you gotta get HBO, then it's Showtime, and then if you have enough, Stars at the bottom.
See, that's not my experience. We got Stars. That was the only one we got. Oh. Yeah.
Maybe it came in like a special bundle.
We got Stars and Encore because they're the same bunch. And those were like super cheap ones. Mm-hmm. They came with our package. Yeah. HBO and Showtime you have to pay extra. That's what I'm saying. Is that they're not worth enough.
They are worth it. HBO's worth it. I don't know.
No, I mean Stars is what I'm saying. It's not worth that tier.
I assumed it was.
No. Stars is not good. But yeah.
Well, because Stars always got like the hit movies first before HBO.
Not
in lieu of HBO.
Usually, no.
Maybe my view of Stars is skewed by 20 years.
You've been skewed by Stars.
I've been skewed
on Stars. All right. Well.
Congratulations on making that money.
Congratulations, 50 Cent, and all power to him. See what I did there. Let's move on. Let's talk about drugs.
Oh, okay. So, did you pass your test?
We'll talk later.
Okay.
No, let's talk about pharmaceutical drugs.
Oh, okay. Yes. What is the pharmacy telling me that I have wrong with me now?
Well, a new bill laid out by the Health and Human Services would mandate drug manufacturers to disclose in ads the price of a 30-day supply of any drug that is covered through Medicare and Medicaid that costs more than $35 a month. They liken this move to a 1950s era rule that required automobile companies to post their car sticker prices during their ads.
Wait, they didn't used to do that?
I guess not.
Huh.
Some policy researchers are skeptical that disclosing prices would change consumer behavior or doctor prescribing habits, but it's a bold step towards curbing rampant drug spending. So this is kind of a move to help consumers understand exactly how much they would be paying for the drugs that are being advertised. Because that is kind of a glaring thing that those ads are missing, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, aside from the fact that they need to literally list out all the side effects that a drug can have and will have.
Right. And I understand why, like, food doesn't do that, because food is sold at stores that get to essentially choose their own prices, give or take. Mm-hmm. Whereas pharmaceuticals are pretty much stuck. They pretty much have a base rate because they're sold officially, you would say. And so, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to not say how much they're going to cost you.
Right, but also knows that every pharmaceutical ad ends with consult your doctor.
Yeah.
Meaning you have to bring it up to your doctor for it to...
Right.
For them to consider it instead of just, hey, you have this, let me prescribe you this.
Yeah.
Yes. The drug industry is actually trying to fight this, saying that, well, if we do that, prices may actually deter people from seeking medical attention.
That could be the case, I suppose. You're not wrong. It's a tricky problem to solve, for sure.
It is. But it is something that, at least prescription-wise, should be addressed.
I almost wonder whether is spending really the issue here, because I thought the real issue was overtaking these drugs.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Well, people get like addicted to pills
Right.
and stuff.
Speaking of, I'm kind of glad that you included this because something I learned today is, speaking of being addicted to drugs, they announced what the cause of death for Roseanne on the upcoming The Conners is going to be.
Oh.
Yes. Roseanne, the character, will die of an opioid addiction.
I thought we don't do this.
No.
Well, she was dying and
we knew she was going to be killed off, but now we know how.
Okay.
Apparently, it was already in the show before the cancellation that she was addicted to some sort of painkiller.
Okay.
So now that's basically how they are going to do it. They're going to come in with her already have passed due to
Ambien.
some sort of opioid
Okay.
overdose. So yeah, tapping in hot button issues.
I think that's either premiere was this week or
I think it is this week.
It is this week, yes.
Which is why this came out, I think. But yeah, interesting stuff. Let's move on, though, because that is it of television news. We have no more television news.
All right. We have some thoughts.
We do have some thoughts. You finished up watching The Rock in Ballers.
Yes, finished up The Rock in Ballers, and that is a weird show. I don't know if we talked about this or not, but
I think you brought it up with the first
I brought up the first episode because they were... That thing's going places. And it's weirdly going places.
Weird stuff.
Especially with this season, because it felt like a tale of two seasons, where the first four... Because it's only like an 10-episode season, so like the first half of it was about establishing a alternative sports TV network. High energy, high octane, how do you deal with corporate broadcasters and getting on TV? Whereas the second half dealt majorly with the NCAA.
Huh, okay.
And not only about how they do broadcasting rights, but about student athletes and not being paid.
Yeah.
And basically taking on the NCAA and
more hot button
them.
issues.
Very hot button issues. But it doesn't solve anything because when it can't be solved. But then if it can't be solved, why bring it up? And why bring it up if you don't want to make a message? And why try and say a message if you're not going to commit fully to it?
Which is a problem I have a lot too. I mean, I never really cared for that show.
I know you did.
It's Sports Entourage.
It is Sports Entourage. That's why I like it. It's Sports Entourage.
Sports Entourage. But it's interesting that they're actually using it kind of potentially as a place to talk about issues in sports.
Yes.
But it doesn't sound like they're doing a good job about it.
No. I think at the very end, it's not made clear, but it seems like they kind of make a deal with one another to basically settle this out of court and not make it bring into the public eye.
Oh, okay.
But it's never explicitly said that's what happens, because there's okay, now we can move forward with this. We'll make a backdoor deal, fade to black, roll credits. Mm-hmm. And so we'll see what that happens next season.
Meantime, anything else you watched on television this week?
Besides all my normal stuff, because TV is back, South Park has come back, and they're running the hashtag cancel South Park.
Yeah.
Probably rightly so.
They're doing it as satire, but I don't know. I feel like that's dumb.
It is.
It's just dumb.
Well, the first episodes opened with the topic of school shootings.
Uh-huh.
And they're continuing that through each episode, starting opening with the school, with a school shooting going on, as sort of say it's a commentary that, and they keep that, and then they end every episode with the black screen hashtag cancel South Park, which I'm not sure what they're trying to do there.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder what the payoff or the point there is, because it seems, the first time I saw an ad with that thing, I was like, really, come on. Come on.
Well, because they basically run their own show. They can cancel it if they want to.
But that's the thing is, it's just it's such a weak joke. It's not even a joke. It's
Simpsons already did it.
No, it's not even. No, it's just they're. I just feel like they're running out of the jokes to
Well, it's because it's no longer a joke. We're going to make jokes show. We're going to do social commentary. And it's been that way for the past 5, 6 seasons.
Then
10
give them
seasons?
a freaking talk show. It's like, I don't know. I just don't know why. I don't know why South Park's still money at any other shows this week.
I threw my time at Manifest because they ran the ad, discovered the mystery behind the plane missing. There was a stowaway. And no, it just ended up being the B plot to whatever it was. So I was like, alright, that's the last time I fall for your tricks. You're definitely the lost of this generation. Because you're going to...
Because at least season 1 of What Lost was popular.
Oh, we'll see. Manifest may or may not be popular.
Yeah, I don't think so. Alright, let's stop talking about that. Let's move into cancellations and renewals.
Alright, so what am I no longer watching?
You are watching a lot more CW shows because CW has renewed all their shows from last summer.
Oh, so the cheap summer programming.
Yeah, Burden Truth, The Outpost, Masters of Illusion, Penn and Teller Fool Us, and Whose Line Is It Anyway?
3 of those 5 shows are taped in front of a live studio audience.
They sure are, and they're all coming back, so look forward to more next summer. Also coming back is Mr. In Between on FX. It will get a 2nd season.
Mr. Between My Father.
Kidding on Showtime will get a 2nd season. That's the Jim Carrey kids show.
Is that what okay.
Yeah, that's what that thing is.
Alright.
The Resident will get a full season order over at Fox.
That's second year, by the way.
Yeah.
That was last year's hot show for Fox.
Yeah, so it's coming back.
So season 2 gets a full order.
New Amsterdam also getting a full order, full first season on its home channel of NBC. Like it or not, it's coming, here to stay.
Not liking it.
FBI on CBS will also get a full season order.
Okay, cool. What else will get a full season order?
So will Single Parents on ABC.
Wait, that Terry Killen thing?
Yes, that awful pilot. Apparently somebody liked it enough at ABC to order the rest of that season. So there you go.
Cool.
Then if you like Ozark on Netflix, it's getting a 3rd season.
Okay, congratulations, Jason Bateman.
However, if you're a fan of Nathan For You on Comedy Central, well, it will be canceled after its 4th season.
Yes, but not by Comedy Central. Nathan For You is done. He's just canceling himself.
It's over. Elite on Netflix, which just premiered, will be already getting a 2nd season.
Cool.
Yeah. Christy was telling me that's like...
Oh, that's what the backwards E.
Yeah. Like
the high school?
Someone had told her that was like a combination between your like high school dramas and like... I forget what she said. But yeah, it was like... Sounded like something she would be interested in, but I think she tried watching it and didn't grab her. So... Elite, but yeah, some people like it. It's out. It's getting the 2nd season. Then we also have Nathan For You on Comedy Central. Also,
no, we did that.
Just did that. I read them in the opposite order for some reason.
Okay.
Yes, we're talking about that. Speaking of animals, we talked about earlier.
Yes, BoJack being an animal.
Animals on HBO.
Oh,
the show Animals.
Yeah, HBO Animals.
Yes. It has been canceled after 3 seasons.
I think it lasted 3 seasons.
I think it lasted 3 seasons.
Huh. Go figure.
That's it for Animals. Also canceled. Netflix finally did it after the upcoming 7th season. 7th season! Orange is the New Black is done.
Is she finally getting out of prison?
I don't know. Maybe.
Has she been in prison for like the past 3 seasons?
I don't even know.
What's that show about?
I stopped watching after season 2. I watched season 1 and 2 and then watched like 2 episodes of season 3 and I was like, alright.
That was like a Netflix original flagship.
It was the flagship.
Well, no, House of Cards was the flagship.
House of Cards. But
yeah, those 2 were the flagships.
But yeah, I dropped off
for
way
original
long
concept.
ago. I didn't realize that was 4 years ago.
4?
Yes, 7 minus 3 equals 4.
Oh, yeah. Well, because I thought you said it only started 4 years ago. No, 7 years ago.
It was 7 years ago.
Wow, 2010, 11? Yeah.
There you go.
Oof.
All right. That's it for cancellations and renewals. Now we have deaths. We just have one this week.
Okay.
Dennis Hoff, age 88, owner/star of HBO late night series Cat House. I've actually seen an episode of Cat House.
That's not Bunny Ranch, right? That's
no,
different.
That's different.
Yeah.
But
that's not Taxi Cab Confessions, right?
No, it's also different.
That's not Skin and Max, right?
You're getting closer.
Okay.
I believe it was about a strip club.
Yeah, I believe so.
But yeah, that's that. All right, that does it for television. We can move into music now.
Okay, music news. But first,
we always start with Billboard.
And tell me, is Lady Gaga ruling the thing?
We'll get there, but first we have the singles chart.
Okay.
Your Hot 100 this week ruled again by Girls Like You with Maroon 5 featuring Cardi B.
So apparently Maroon 5 released the second part of that that song. Apparently there's more to it?
Yeah, I guess so.
There's a part 1 and a part 2. They just released part 2 of that on YouTube.
So maybe part 2 will be number 1 next week. But for now, part 1, still your number 1 movie. Or, sorry, your number 1 song.
Single.
Number 2, Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD, which I finally heard for the first time yesterday. It's weird. It's a weird ass song.
Is it a lucid dream?
Or
lucid song?
Lucid Dreams. Number 3, Better Now by Post Malone. Number 4, Drip Too Hard. Cannot laugh at saying that. And if you thought the name was funny, it is performed by Lil Baby and Lil Baby and Gunna. Gunna.
Gunna?
Yes, Gunna.
Gunna what? Gunna what?
I don't know.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know which is funnier, Gunna or Lil Baby.
Or Drip.
Drip Too Hard.
Drip Too Hard.
Drip Too Hard.
What are people listening to?
If I may...
this sounds like a rap song.
Yes, if I may warrant my guess here about what Drip Too Hard refers to. From my understanding is I think that is slang for wearing a lot of jewelry. Because you're dripping. You're dripping with, like, jewelry. And
not so the drip I was thinking.
So dripping too hard means that you're going too hard with the jewelry. You got so many. You wear all your chains when you're in the house, to paraphrase Drake.
Well, see, my rap slang "drip too hard" refers to when you get a girl too wet.
All right,
she just drips too hard.
No, I don't think that's drip. I don't think that's what this is referring to. I could be way off.
I could be way off too.
But that's my reading of "Drip Too Hard."
This could also just be a slow jam R&B song for all we know.
However.
But with names like Lil
Baby sounds like he's a SoundCloud rapper.
It's a rap name.
He sounds like a Lil Pump style SoundCloud rapper.
Yes,
if you ask me.
yes. Follow the Lils.
Speaking of,
add him to the Lil tree.
Well, and rounding out your top 5 this week, though, is something that is probably the direct opposite of a SoundCloud rap song. "Shallow" by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper from the Star Is Born soundtrack is your number 5 song, debuting in the top 5 this week.
So is this our Moana of the year we're going to track?
Yes, because speaking of soundtrack albums, moving on to your Billboard 200, which is your album chart, it is topped by, indeed, the Star Is Born soundtrack.
A Star Is Born.
This is credited to, this entire soundtrack, even though it involves other people, is credited to Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
Yes, this makes Lady Gaga's 5th number 1 as a female artist.
Yes.
I think,
second as a non-solo artist,
yes.
right? Because I think that she topped the charts with
the Barry
Tony
Manilow.
Bennett.
Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett?
Yeah, Tony Bennett thing.
Yes, her 5th topping all pop, I think?
Yeah.
I think that's what it was I saw. But yeah, Lady Gaga with new records and number 1 album of the week.
Yep. Number 2, Trench by 21 Pilots. Almost. Just narrowly misses that number 1 spot.
Oh,
comes
good.
in at a solid number 2.
Good.
The Carter 5 moves down to number 3 this week.
In the Carter V's.
Number 4, the album Drip Harder. Yes, Drip Harder by Lil Baby and Gunna is your number 4.
The album is
Drip Harder. So just to recap, the song is called Drip Too Hard from the album Drip Harder. Maybe I am wrong. I don't know. Maybe you are right. And number 5, rounding out the top 5, Desperate Man by Eric Church.
Yeah.
Which is something we'll talk about a little later.
Yeah.
But
that does it.
Yes, we did. Actually, yes, we talked about that last week.
Remember that last week?
We talked about that last week. So, yes, coming in on hot, number 5 this week.
Yeah, it was basically number 1 on the country charts.
Yes, probably. All right. Let's move out of...
Unless they count Shallows as a country.
No.
That's soundtrack.
That's pop. Moving out of the Billboard, we move into new releases for this week.
All right, what am I listening to this week?
I don't know what you're listening to, but here's what's being released.
Okay.
First up, Ace Frehley with Spaceman. Disturbed with Evolution.
Yes, that's Disturbed.
El King with Shake.
Yes.
The Spirit.
Yes, that El King. Rob Schneider's daughter.
Pharaoh with Pure O. Greta Van Fleet with Anthem of the Peaceful Army. That was hard for me to say.
Let's try that again.
Anthem of the Peaceful Army. How to Dress Well with The Anteroom. Lil Yachty with Nothing to Prove.
I'm sure he has nothing to prove.
Nothing to prove. Paper Cuts with Parallel Universe Blues. Peter, Bjorn, and John with Darker Days. Soulfly with Ritual. And Yoko Ono with Warzone.
Wait, Yoko Ono?
Yoko Ono. That Yoko Ono.
Is she going to bring up more Beatles?
Still making music. What?
Is she going to bring up more Beatles?
There's no Beatles break.
Well, you're right. One Direction already broke up.
Moving out of new releases into music news. Our top story in music this week is the biggest deal. The Music Modernization Act passed.
Yes. What is that? 'Cause that sounds like a lot of gibberish.
The Music Modernization Act was the legislation that updates music copyright law by combining the Allocation for Music Producers Act, which provides royalties for music producers, the Classics Act, which provides royalties for songs created before 1972 from digital streaming services, and a watered-down Fair Play, Fair Pay Act, which does not include the provision that broadcast radio should pay for songs. Mike Love from the Beach Boys, Kid Rock, John Rich of Big and Rich, and Sam Moore of Sam and Dave all came to the White House for the signing of the bill. So there you go.
Ooh, so what does this exactly mean?
That's a good question. It seems like it's a combination of all those things, like little bits and pieces that they think will modernize the music industry. This was we covered some of this because we talked about how XM satellite radio was not a fan and was vocally opposed, even though most of the people involved in the music industry were all for it.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a win, generally speaking, for the music industry. Any time where artists are guaranteed more royalties for their work is good, especially the one for music on streaming services before 1972. That is key.
Yes.
I didn't realize that was a thing that was missing. So, yeah. This just means that more people in the business make more money, which is good for... Hopefully, we'll see that going to artists and not just to the labels.
Not right.
Yeah, that's the worry, is you don't want something like this to have all the money go to people who are already rich. Hopefully this makes the people who actually make the music rich as well. It's the hope.
I wonder if that's why XM bought Pandora, because this thing was going to go through.
I don't know. Maybe, but I think that probably would have happened regardless.
Maybe.
Because it seems like the one thing that they would have wanted or had a problem with didn't get to be part of the thing. They seemed like probably they were related to that radio bit about not being able to or having to pay for songs. I'm wondering if that was what XM had objected towards.
Yeah, okay.
That might be what. But let's move on.
That's nice for what?
Yeah, something. But yeah, let's move on. Our next story
is a heartbreaker.
Not really.
A dream maker.
What?
A love taker. Don't you mess around with him.
No, we're talking about Michael Bublé.
Oh.
I guess he probably has broken some hearts along the way.
Well, he's also sung to some hearts along the way.
This is true. Michael Bublé, of course, known as the crooner of this generation.
Crooner? Swooner? Oh, okay.
I mean, people probably swoon over him, but he's known for crooning. He's known for doing a kind of music that kind of isn't super popular these days. Your Frank Sinatra style, traditional songs and singers standards kind of music that people don't really do. He kind of made a career out of it as being the dude who you wheel out for that kind of thing. Well, no longer, as he has announced plans to retire from the music industry after admitting he no longer has the desire for fame, following his son's battle with cancer.
We reported on that last year?
Yes. He put his career on hold after finding out that his 5-year-old was diagnosed with liver cancer 2 years ago. Bublé began making music again about a year ago with his new album, Love, due to be released next month. He says, quote, "I've made the perfect record, and now I can leave at the very top." That record comes out on November 16th.
So this is the ultimate Bublé?
The
last bubble?
The last bubble. Pop in the last bubble.
Oh.
So if you like Bublé's work, check it out on the 16th, because that will be probably his last, unless he chooses to have like a late career renaissance at some point.
Where Love just happens to be like the album to resurge him
maybe
into the popular conscience.
Well, I was saying much later. I would say like when he's like much older.
Oh, you mean like when his kids go to college?
Yeah, just like the rest of his heroes did. Who
so
knows?
15 years from now, there'll be a Bublé resurgence.
Yes, the Bublé is back.
The Bublé back.
Bublé returns. All right, somebody else.
The Bublé burst.
Yes, the Bublé burst. That's their joke. We could have done that. Well,
whose joke?
No, I said that could have been the joke we went with.
Oh, this is a joke I'm going with.
Also, in Men of Music news here, Lindsey Buckingham, of course formerly of Fleetwood Mac, has sued Fleetwood Mac for firing him.
Wait, but isn't he in Fleetwood Mac?
Not anymore. According to documents, Buckingham says he was informed by his manager that Fleetwood Mac, quote, would proceed with its upcoming and already organized 2018 to 2019 concert tour without him, and that not a single member of the band spoke to him directly about that decision.
I think we talked about this when they announced the tour.
Yes. Buckingham is suing his bandmates for breach of fiduciary duty, breach of oral contract, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, and more. The band strongly disputes the allegations and looks forward to their day in court. Ooh, boy, that's going to be a fun court.
Fleetwood Mac versus Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, I just want to see Lindsey Buckingham getting a yelling match with Stevie Nicks. That's what I want to see. Stevie Nicks will just use her witch powers to like put a hex on him or something. Let's move on.
That'll be a fun day.
Yeah. You know what else is fun? Saying this following dude's name.
What is the following dude's name?
Charlemagne the God.
Oh, wait. Being the rooster, Charlemagne?
No.
Charlemagne
the God.
Charlemagne.
We're going to talk about Charlemagne the God.
Why are we talking about Charlemagne the God?
Charlemagne the God is, of course, the co-host of The Breakfast Club radio show.
Wait, is that The Breakfast Club?
Not The Breakfast Club, the movie. The Breakfast Club, the radio show.
Okay.
A popular hip-hop syndicated radio show. He has announced that the New York Times, that apparently a New York Times talk he was to participate in with Kanye West on Wednesday is no longer happening.
So that's why it's this story.
He wrote on social media that he figured that having that conversation with Kanye West right now would not be productive because it was supposed to be a conversation about signs of mental health.
Wait, isn't he currently going through some of that right now? Like a breakdown? Like
yeah, that's
diagnosis?
kind of the thing. Is that was what the talk was supposed to be about. But Charlemagne God's worry is that days after his unhinged display with President Trump at the White House...
Oh, yeah, talking about time travel and
wouldn't be
all that
a
stuff.
Good time. Saying that West was being misused by Trump and thought the men were actually using each other for each other's agendas.
Narcissistic agendas.
Yeah, of course, West went public with his bipolar disorder diagnosis in June, but now he's claiming that he was misdiagnosed. So who the hell knows what's going on with him, really?
Wait, is he saying that himself was misdiagnosed?
I guess. I don't know.
Did he diagnose himself and saying no?
Let's just say that Kanye West has said all sorts of weird things.
Well, yes, but we normally don't pay attention unless he's dropping an album.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a weird story, but it's probably good on Charlemagne's part here to not give him more airtime than he needs right now. Because we've heard a lot more of Kanye than we need to lately.
That's true.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
That's it for music news.
Did you listen to anything?
We did. No, I didn't. Did you? I had to think about it. That was last week. No, I don't believe we listened to anything of note.
I don't believe so. I re-listened to the
There
Star
was a
Sport
Sia single
soundtrack.
that we listened to too.
Yes.
It was fine.
It's okay. It's a Sia single. It's
Yeah.
very poppy. It's got a hook.
It's fine. But other than that,
No, listen to the Star Born soundtrack.
yeah.
And then maybe you want to listen to the Great Showman soundtrack, which maybe you want to listen to the Moana soundtrack.
Well, you should have just listened to Moana and saved yourself some time.
And I should just jump straight to it.
Yeah. So that's it then for music. We move into video games now.
Yeah, we're running right through this thing.
And the top of the video games is always new releases, and this is a big week.
All right, big names in video games.
We have some good stuff coming out. First up, Dark Souls Remastered is finally out on Switch after months of talk. Dark Souls Trilogy is also going to be released for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, so if you want to catch up on the Dark Souls you've missed, that would be Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2,
It's Dark Souls 2.
So not Demon Souls, sorry. Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3
Yeah.
would be included in this. Also out this week, my pick of the week, Soul Calibur 6.
Oh, yes. Your pick.
You have Switch here, but it's not on Switch. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Is it on Switch?
Not on Switch.
Oh.
Lego DC Supervillains for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch.
That's on the Switch, yeah.
NBA 2K Playgrounds 2 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. Starlink Battle for Atlas, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. That is the Toys to Life Ubisoft thing with, on the Switch version, has a Star Fox tie-in.
Okay.
So that's the one where you buy toy ships, you outfit, prepare them, and then you play the game with your toy ship. I heard today that apparently if you put the guns on your ship backwards, they will be backwards in the game. Stuff like that. So very Toys to Life.
Okay.
Then Warriors Orochi 4 is also out this week. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch for that as well. So let's move into video game news. We start our story with a story about Sony and a warning to those of you probably don't check your messages.
I don't check any of my messages.
Good call, because...
one, I don't have friends to message.
Oh, that's sad. PS4 users are claiming that they are receiving messages that are preventing them from using their consoles at all. Users are reporting that they are receiving the messages through that messaging application that are hard locking their PS4s completely. Basically, the stories follow a similar pattern. They receive the message, their controllers and sound outputs fail, and resetting the console results in continual error loops. PlayStation UK support has acknowledged that the problem is a crash loop, and it can be fixed if users delete the message on the PlayStation mobile app instead, then go into safe mode and use option 5 to get their console back to normal. Thankfully, I don't believe we've encountered this. I have not looked at any messages.
Nope, I don't look at many of my messages either. I mean, like I said, because I no longer game or anyone I do game with.
Also, my
understanding, PS3 era.
Yeah. Also, my understanding is that as of this week, Sony has fixed the issue.
Yeah, Sony has fixed the issue.
No longer
you can't check your messages. But yeah, for a while there, it would basically deadlock your console.
Yeah. All right, next up,
Brick it.
Our next story is a follow-up from last week's story where we talked about Obsidian Entertainment being possibly bought out by Microsoft. Well,
that's still a rumor.
That's still a rumor, but some people were talking about Obsidian and their legacy of games in the past, including fan favorite Fallout New Vegas.
Right, the one game that wasn't by Bethesda.
Right, so the question being, would they ever make another game in the Fallout universe?
I believe they were at one point, right?
Well, probably not.
Oh.
They had previously expressed enthusiasm in continuing adventures in the Fallout world, but it seems like any future installment probably won't be happening. The company responded on Twitter that it is very doubtful that they would return to the world of Fallout. This lines up with Todd Howard at Bethesda, saying that all development in-house at Bethesda for Fallout will probably stay at Bethesda. The rumors of Microsoft acquisition of the company also kind of adds credence to this.
Right.
So this all comes as Fallout 76, Bethesda's Fallout game, next Fallout game in the series, releases on November 14th. And but if you didn't get a chance to play Vegas, well, guess what? It's currently part of a Humble Bundle sale, so get your hands on some cheap-ass Fallout New Vegas while you can.
Isn't that like a 10-year-old game at this point?
Also, I believe it is in the Xbox Game Pass. So if
maybe.
you still want to play Fallout New Vegas, there's that also.
If you haven't played it already.
Yeah. It's
or if you want to play it again.
So it's there if you want it.
Yeah. That was the game that came after Fallout 3?
Yeah.
And then it took forever for Fallout 4 to come out.
Right.
Yeah.
Our next story isn't about video games, but it is about games.
This is a fun story. Normally I put some fun stories in here.
Talk about Othello.
You mean Reversey?
No, Othello.
Reversey.
It takes what is it? It's
a Shakespeare play.
Yes, Othello.
Which was exactly what popped up when I typed in Othello into Google.
Othello.
And I wanted to use that image too.
It's I forget the thing that's on the box of every Othello game. It's not that easy to learn.
Easy to learn, hard to master
or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Othello. Well, some people are really, really good at Othello. They've mastered it.
Wait, but...
Yeah, I know. But even an 11-year-old can master it.
A what now?
Yeah, an 11-year-old. According to the 2018 World Othello Champion.
No.
11-year-old Keisuke Fukuchi beat the former 2017 World Champion and 5-times champion in the semifinals, and then beat the 2016 World Champion in the final match.
Oh, so he's basically asserted his dominance at 11.
Yeah. Well, this is part of a trend, because last year, 12-year-old Akihiro Takahashi finished as the runner-up. So, young
you would have
people...
been 13, but yeah.
Yeah, young people
11-year-old...
Othello League.
Do you know how to play Othello?
I do not know how to play Othello.
I want to say that's where you put them on each side.
I think you're right.
And then you take the entire row.
It is also the Japanese game Go.
No, that's different.
That's different? Go is different?
Go is different.
I thought Go was Othello.
No. Go is a version of Othello where you have to make a box and then you get all the stuff in the box. Whereas Othello/Reversey is you need to cap your enemy and then you get all the ones in the middle.
Okay. I just always assumed they were the same thing.
Well, they're both played with black and white pieces.
Yeah.
So that's probably why. But no, they're two different games. And we talked about the AlphaGo last year.
Yes, we did.
About the AI version, which is also on Netflix. If you want to watch that.
Documentary.
They just call it AlphaGo on Netflix.
Yeah, AlphaGo. All right. Next up, and back to actual video games. The big video game last week, of course, was Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Okay,
it's already setting records.
I was saying, this is the big game, so what records did it set?
Well, it set the PlayStation record for one-day digital full game sales. So on the PlayStation Store, no game has sold more day one than Black Ops 4.
Not even Spider-Man or God of War?
Spider-Man. I believe Spider-Man had set that record up until this happened.
Right, I think God of War set that up until this happened.
Digital sales for the first day of release broke the franchise record for Call of Duty, set in 2017, with World War II, the last Call of Duty game.
Oh, so they just keep breaking records then.
Yeah.
Breaking their own record at this point.
The title also quickly became the best-selling Activision Xbox One digital game on day one, globally as well. So just breaking all those records. The first Call of Duty release ever on Blizzard's Battle.net, which is the PC version of Black Ops 4, also delivered a franchise high, in which launch day PC sales more than doubled from last year. That's pretty good.
So it seems like everyone was all up on this thing then.
Yeah. This is notable that they're doing that, because previously Call of Duty games were sold on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first year where they're eschewing Steam completely, just like Destiny 2 did, and only releasing the PC version on their Activision-specific Blizzard Battle.net.
Right. Which makes sense. If you own the thing, use it.
Yeah. Exactly. Make people use your thing.
Yep. And speaking of using that thing, we used it.
We used that
and
thing.
And that brings us to our thoughts of...
Yep. That does it for
Black Ops 4.
Video game news, and it's a perfect segue because we're going to talk about some Black Ops 4.
Okay.
We played some Black Ops 4.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. So.
All right. So, first thing to note, which was noted in previous episodes, this thing has no single-player campaign.
Yeah.
I think they said at one point there will be a patch for it. Because there's definitely assets for a single-player campaign. There just is no single-player campaign.
So what's kind of become of the single-player campaign is that there is a mode where you can kind of tutorialize and try out the characters in the game, the operatives that you play as in the multiplayer modes. These are apparently characters who were also involved in Black Ops 3. I did not play Black Ops 3, so I have no knowledge of this, but apparently this is a continuation of some of them, but some of them are not. Some of them are new. So this was a way where they could give a little bit of story context for these characters and allow you to try out their special abilities before you play a multiplayer match. And you know what? It works. Except I have no idea what's going on in that story.
Yeah, it's something about Black Ops governments, which, par for the course, good name there.
Yeah, makes sense.
Doing some shady stuff because, Black Ops, good name, par for the course. Killing some people, but they don't want anyone to know about it because, par for the course. Yeah, the story doesn't make sense, but then again, you have to complete every mission in difficulty legendary or whatever, veteran,
Something
in order
like that,
to gain all the stars to unlock all the cutscenes. I'm like, nope, that's when I'm just going to go on to YouTube and watch it. If I ever felt like it.
If you ever wanted to.
Because I really don't feel like it.
Yeah. So it's there if you want it. But the main draw, of course, are the multiplayer modes. And this game brings in a couple of new ones, as well as the returning classics. You get your team deathmatches in there.
Yeah.
You get your zombies mode, although that's outfitted with apparently more stuff than they've ever crammed into it at launch.
We'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's get through the stuff people are mostly going to play, which is the multiplayer.
Right.
So like you said, they got your classics. You got deathmatch. You got capture the flag. You have domination. You have the tag one, drop tags. What is it called?
Kill Confirmed.
Kill Confirmed.
Which is my favorite mode.
I love that mode.
I love Kill Confirmed.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got all your classics plus two new added modes. One is Control, which is basically domination.
Yeah, it is renamed.
It's just a renamed domination. But also they added one called Heist, which is Payday. For those of you like Payday, this is basically Payday multiplayer online for Call of Duty.
Yeah. I also heard it compared to kind of a Counter-Strike-ish mode.
Yeah.
Because there's like a shop up front, kind of like Counter-Strike would do.
Yep. Yeah. Well, same thing with Payday, because I love...
Yeah.
When the Payday 2 was free for PS Plus, I played a lot of that, because it was fun. So, yeah. Heist mode, as it's called, is... there's an established base of you're trying to stop one player from extracting the cash. But everyone starts the first round, with the same weapon. The same loadout. You get a pistol with one mag and $500. If you kill more people, you gain more money. If you die, that's okay. You'll still gain $1,000, but you won't gain any more than that. Yeah, just the better you do, the more money you get, the more you can up your stats and run over people. And I really enjoyed that mode, surprisingly. Out of all the modes, that's one I played the most of.
Yeah.
That and playing as Battery. By the way, the names are kind of cool.
yeah, I have no idea what's going on there. But
the code names. Battery and Crash and
how do you feel about the
Seraph.
Feel of the game this year? Because notably, this is a kind of, I don't know if you would call it a regression. I certainly think it's a regression from the previous Call of Duties, except for World War II, of course. Because they're moving away from the future stuff. This is back kind of in a Modern Warfare-esque setting where it's between the Modern Warfare games era and future era stuff.
Right. Well, I want to say it feels like a regression because the last game we played
Infinite Warfare.
Was Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, which was super futuristic while running jetpacks. This has neither of those things.
Right.
This has a slide, and that's pretty much as fancy as you get.
Yeah. Which there's also a grappling hook.
Yes, one of the characters.
Yes, one of the characters has a grappling hook, but it's special. Or one of its special alts.
It's very special.
Yeah, that you can only use roughly, depending on how well you play, maybe 2 or 3 times in a game.
Yeah.
So I don't really count that, because if I could just do around the map like that constantly, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But then again, that's kind of what the jetpack was for Advanced Warfare, and that didn't work out too well.
No, it didn't.
Because you couldn't really control it.
Shot out of the sky all the time.
Yeah. But the classes feel well balanced. It definitely takes from Overwatch, in which the players that are given to you have specific alts, like special abilities, once you power them up, to enhance your gameplay.
Yeah.
It doesn't characterize them as like support class, tank class, assault, ram, like Overwatch does. But it's definitely a variety to where you have enough to play with.
Yeah.
If you suck with one, there's plenty of other ones to jump around with.
And there's create a class as well once you unlock it.
Yes.
Where you can kind of mix and match these parts.
Yeah. I mean, but of course that's creating a class.
Right.
It's par for the course.
Yeah, it's Call of Duty. That we shouldn't have to tell you this. If you played a Call of Duty game, and if you've lapsed, especially if it's been a long while.
It's been a while.
It seems like this is not a bad one to get into.
Yeah.
It seems like they did a pretty good job with the feel of it. But then, yeah, it seems like the zombies mode, though, is a lot.
The zombie mode is a lot, but it's also kind of what attracted me to kind of wanting to buy this thing, too.
Yeah.
Because the zombie mode plays a lot like a story mode. There's 3 different stories. One is gladiatorial, one is on the Backwoods, and one is on the Titanic, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
I played a lot of the zombie mode, or not zombie mode. I played a lot of the gladiatorial and the Titanic. I was glad I played
Well,
I was glad I played the gladiatorial arena one with people who not only had mics, but had played this before I knew what they were doing, so they tell me what to do. Otherwise, I would have been lost trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I mean, I wish I knew how to upgrade my weapons sooner, and people would tell me, like, oh, do this. Or there'd be some type of, like, outline tutorial objective mode where it says, it'll run out a list of, you need to do this, and you need to do this, and you need to do this, instead of run around, find stuff, and figure it out. Like, there's a tutorial mode for each one that runs down, this is what you should be doing. But if you're like most people are going to skip tutorials, because it's a Call of Duty zombie game.
You know what to do.
You just shoot the zombies.
Right. You would think.
But
no, apparently there's like a lot of weird, intricate stuff in that mode.
Yes, and the more levels you go through the game, I mean, the more waves you go through, the harder the zombies get. So you need to upgrade your stuff.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So it's definitely fun. It's a fun experience. It definitely takes in part of the single player campaign, but if you're playing with like people you know or people who know what they're doing in case you don't, it's a real fun game. It's run field mode, fun mode to play with if you don't want to do traditional Call of Duty stuff.
Okay.
I had fun, and I think that's the important part. This game is fun.
Yes, and it's what you come to Call of Duty for. So, I think it does its job as Call of Duty game more than the disappointment that was World War II last year.
Yeah, because we played World War II and
did not like it.
It was on from release. It had a lot of bugs. Oh, that's one thing I noticed. They got rid of loot boxes and drops.
Yeah,
and there's no homeworld hub that.
No. All the stuff that they tried with World War II is gone.
Yes.
Which makes sense because it's a different developer, but still. Mm-hmm. This is very much a Treyarch game. Which, brings up... I did want to briefly bring up the menus being kind of lousy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's not really super clear where everything is, and it's not great design-wise, and it kind of just tosses you in without really explaining anything. That's kind of not great. But, what's in there is okay.
Yeah, I mean, what's in there is fun once you navigate through and figure out where everything is. But overall, it's... You'll play for the modes.
Right.
I mean, one thing I like is that the classes they give you initially before you do create a class, they're easy enough to learn and fun enough to play to where at one point I was like, I don't need to create a class.
Yeah.
I don't need to upgrade my stuff because these have all the loadouts I want.
Yeah.
And I don't have to wait 50 levels to get the thing I want when this gun right here is exactly what I'm good, comfortable using.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Call of Duty. You already know whether you want this or not, so we don't need to sell you on it.
Yeah, this is probably one, like, the Call of Duty to own. One, because it's the one that came out this year. But two, it's not Advanced Warfare, and it's not a World War II game.
And it's also been a not-so-great generation for Call of Duty games. It's been pretty much this one and Advanced Warfare that I would recommend. Even Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, but even when you bought Advanced Warfare, we mainly played just Modern Warfare Remastered, because that's a part of it.
No, that was Infinite Warfare.
Yeah.
Advanced Warfare, the one I'm talking about, was the one that was out at launch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for PS4.
Right. Advanced and then... Yes,
yeah.
Right. Yes, I forgot about that.
With Digital Kevin Spacey. Which that has not aged well. Yeah.
No, you're right.
That game's got to be weird.
Yeah, no, you're right. That one for this generation.
That was Advanced Warfare. That was the first in this generation.
So yeah, have you ever played a Call of Duty game since then?
Advanced Warfare? Then yeah.
This is a good one to get back into then.
Alright, well, we talked that one to death.
Yeah.
So
would you have thought we'd say that? Call of Duty, go get it?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's a weird year.
Yeah.
There's some weird stuff going on here in video games. So that'll wrap it up then. That's it for video games. That's it for the Media Boat podcast.
Yeah, that'll wrap us up here. So let's plug away.
So if you liked what you heard, we're back on next Wednesday night. We may not be live, so I'm going to put an asterisk here. But if we do record, we'll be up on podcast form. But next time we are live, you can find us live on YouTube. Just search youtube.com for Media Boat Podcast. You'll find our channel. You can also find us in audio form on any podcatcher of your choice. Just type in Media Boat Podcast and you should find us, including Apple Podcasts. Leave a comment if you want. That helps us greatly. If you want to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter at MediaBoatCast. We're on Facebook, just search MediaBoatCast. We're on Twitch.tv when we stream video games, so it's been a minute since we were streaming some Spider-Man for you.
Well, I streamed some Call of Duty.
Okay, so yeah, Twitch.tv/MediaBoat.
You saw me go live for Call of Duty.
That's right, I forgot. That's where you can see us play all sorts of different games. You can also find us on Patreon if you want to help us out with financial stuff. Patreon.com/MediaBoat is where you can donate as little as $1 a month. Even that small amount helps us make this content better and helps you grant access to new stuff that we haven't even thought about yet. You can also find us on MediaBoatPodcast.com. That is our archive of all our written work. You can see thoughts from movies earlier in the year, from last year, music, thoughts as well, our end of the year wrap up lists from last year.
Oh, we gotta do that.
More. Yeah, we gotta do that come December.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
I love me some lists.
List season, that's my favorite.
So we're at 150 this year.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll do it then. In the meantime, we'll be gone for the week. It's going to be a busy week next week, so we'll see what we got for you next week. But for now, that's it for the Media Boat Podcast. See you guys next time.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week with even more stuff. More reviews, more reviews, more thoughts.
Yes, exactly.
And more news on media stuff.
And more. Who knows what else we'll talk about.
More s'mores, more sports.
More s'mores than you can watch.
Sports news.
Sports news.
All right. Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye. All right. YouTube After Show. We caught up with everything.
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember, we chat live with you every Wednesday.
Next time we're live, you can chat with us.
Yep. All sports stuff. We're good. We're good to go, which means you're good to go.
So bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.
See you next.